So today we're going to be looking at repairing an iPhone 14 Pro Max screen. Follow along as we show you step by step how to disassemble your current broken screen and reassemble with a brand new screen. Before going ahead with this repair, there's a few things you need to be made aware of. In this guide we're repairing an A2A94 International model. If you're fixing a different type of iPhone model, there may be some differences that you might want to be aware of. For safety reasons, before starting the repair we recommend discharging the battery below 25%. This is to reduce the risk of fire if the battery is accidentally damaged during the repair. Lastly, on iOS 17.6 and earlier, True Tone and Auto Brightness function will not work after a screen replacement even when using an original Apple screen. However, if you're running iOS 18 and newer, you can restore True Tone by calibrating your new screen using Apple's Repair Assistant if you've bought your replacement screen from Apple. If you did want to fix True Tone and Auto Brightness, there are tools available to do this. However, as the phone ages and there are new iOS updates, the tools and methods to enable these functions also change. So for the most up-to-date information on how to fix this, get in touch by following the link to our website below. When you turn your iPhone back on after fitting your new screen, there'll be an error message telling you that a non-genuine display has been fitted to your device. This is because the IC chip on your original screen was paired to your iPhone's motherboard. If you fit any other screen, it will recognize that it isn't the original and it will flag up a message. This isn't anything to worry about, your screen will function as it should, bar the True Tone and Auto Brightness noted previously. As always, if you're unsure what tools or parts you need to complete this repair, follow the link in the description below where you can purchase the exact parts and tools we're using throughout this guide. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is heat the phone up to loosen the adhesive that holds the screen to the frame. If your screen is severely smashed and parts of the screen are missing, then you could skip this step if you feel like the screen is already coming free from the adhesive. To heat the iPhone, we're using a forward FW360 Plus machine at 100 degrees Celsius for 2 to 3 minutes maximum. You can also use a heat mat, pad or even a hairdryer, but temperature and amount of time will vary depending on what you use. As a general guide, you're trying to heat the phone to a point where it is slightly too hot to touch. Next up, remove the 2 pentalobe screws at the bottom of the phone with a pentalobe screwdriver. To keep track of your screws throughout the repair, we recommend a magnetic mat or screw holder. In the next step, we'll be prying the screen from the frame. It's really important to note that there are delicate cables along the left edge of the iPhone, as you can see here. So as you're following along with the next step, make sure you don't insert your prying tool where these cables sit. Start by inserting your prying tool on the bottom right hand side of the phone. If you're struggling to insert your prying tool or you have a thicker prying tool, then you can use a suction cup to help create a gap between the screen and the frame. Once you've managed to insert your prying tool, work your way up the right side, lifting the screen free from the frame. Just be careful when doing this. Avoid touching the mid-frame if possible to avoid damage. Then do the same for the top and the bottom. If your screen is in fairly good condition and you would like to keep and sell it, or you believe it's refurbishable, you'll want to avoid levering from the bottom as it's where the flex cable sits, and you may damage it, so lever from the top instead. As we will not be using ours for refurbishment, we can be a bit less careful when prying the screen away. If you're like us and you've got quite a bit of the screen free from the frame and you can get a good grip on the screen, you can start gently pulling the screen away from the frame from the right side. We're gently pushing the screen from left to right to help release the clips. Your phone should open like a book once the screen is fully free from the frame. Once the phone is open, the first step is to remove the battery connector cover. You can do this by removing the 8 screws holding it down with a Y000 screwdriver. Once removed, you can remove the cover by sliding it downward to avoid the flex cables. Next, disconnect the battery flex followed by the 2 display cables. This will allow you to remove the screen. Our screen had a small hole through the screen, just above the dot projector. If yours is the same, it's worth checking whether there is any damage to the dot projector, as if there is, this will stop Face ID from working. Once the screen has been removed, now is a good time to test your new screen by reconnecting the display cables and battery flex. Once you're happy that your new screen is working as it should, you can grab the old broken screen and remove the front sensor assembly. Start by removing the front sensor bracket by removing the 2 screws with a Phillips 000 screwdriver. Try and disconnect the ambient light sensor from the screen, followed by the proximity sensor. Next, remove the rest of the assembly by pulling it away from the screen. If you're having trouble removing it, then you can apply some heat to the screen to help loosen the adhesive holding it down. Now you can get your new screen and transfer the front sensor assembly to it. Start by removing all of the plastic backing sheets on the back of the screen. If you don't do this, it will cause the screen to overheat once fitted. Next, reconnect the sensors to the slots and stick the rest of the assembly down. If it's lost its stickiness, you'll need to use some test tape. And to finish off, reconnect the bracket with the 2 screws. Now we're going to apply new adhesive. If there is any adhesive left over on your frame, take the time now to give it a clean and remove as much leftover adhesive as you can. Once clean, you can apply new adhesive to the frame. Use a spudger or screwdriver to press the adhesive into the frame and then peel back the first plastic film. Now you can reconnect the display cables, the battery flex and then the battery connector cover. With everything connected, you can now peel back the final plastic film to reveal the adhesive. Close the iPhone gently and press the screen into the frame, applying pressure around the edges to make sure it is bonded with the adhesive. Finally, screw in the pentalobe screws. When this phone turns on, it shows it's unavailable for an hour. This is likely because the old screen was not working correctly and has entered the wrong code multiple times. After an hour, we were able to test the display correctly. Hope you found this guide useful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you want to see more repair content like this one.